Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. Time for the match preview. The big one is here. Arsenal against Man City, or should I say Man City against Arsenal. Yep, we are traveling to the Etihad. That time of year has finally reached, and it's a big one this time. It was a big one last time as well. It was a big one even before that as well. But this time, it really is big. Like, they were 1 point ahead of them. Liverpool is in and around. A draw means Liverpool go top of the table. A win means we stay top of the table. A loss means we could move from first to third within a space of a day. On that Sunday could be terrible for us. But how are you guys feeling ahead of this game? How are you feeling ahead of this Man City game? Are you feeling confident this time around? Or are you still nervous because it's Man City? Or how are you feeling? Let me know in the comment section. Now, let's go through everything. What I feel needs to be done in this game, which lineup I would go for at the end of this video as well. I'll talk about that. But first, let's talk about Man City and Arsenal. What has gone down the last couple of seasons? Now, our record against Man City is quite scary and terrible. The last 8 games we've played at the Etihad, we've lost all 8 of them. We haven't even picked up a draw or been close to pick up a draw. Maybe once we lost 1-0 during COVID, but that was it. All the other seasons, especially the last 2 seasons, it has been terrible. Last season, obviously, we went there, we lost 4-1, and that was like around March, April, and like we were in the midst of the title race against them as well. And they basically, everyone expected them to win that game. They came in, we went there, they smashed us, and from that point on, it was looking very likely that Man City would win the title. And their fans also expected them to smash us and win the title after all that. And the season before that, it was when we had lost to Brentford and lost to Chelsea and then lost to Man City by, I think, 5 goals, and you got a red card in that game as well. So our history at Man City hasn't been great as well. And then if you top that with the fact that Man City haven't lost at home since 2022, a player like Rodri hasn't lost a game like playing like for the last 1 year or something, and our record away from home at Man City, all that is terrible. But this time things could be different. Who knows? This time things could be different. Records are there to be broken, and things could be different because of how we're approaching this game. Last year, going to Man City, we are coming off a back of, I think, drawing with Liverpool, drawing with, was it Southampton, drawing with West Ham, I think, and then playing Man City a couple of weeks later. We were not confident. This time around, you're going into that game a little bit more confident. And it's never going to be easy against Man City. If you go there and you win, you probably deserve to win the title. And if you go there and you win, you have 9 games to go through. And if you beat Man City, I don't feel like any of those Arsenal players or the Arsenal fans will feel like, okay, we are scared of this or that. And obviously, the Premier League is tough, but the moment you beat Man City, you're very confident of beating Man United away, Tottenham away, and all those guys. But you first have to deal with Man City. Listen, if you're to offer me a draw right now, let me just make it clear, I would 100% take it, because it's never been easy for us at Man City. And, you know, they are a very good team. So there's a reason why last season they were smashing Bayern Munich and smashing Arsenal and smashing Real Madrid all at home in the space of a couple of months, and they were just beating everyone because they're very, very good at home. Now, we beat them already twice this season. Once was in a penalty shootout in the Community Shield, but once in the league game. We beat them in the league this season 1-0, but that was at the Etihad Stadium. And that game, the way both teams approached that game, looked like both teams were very happy with the 0-0 draw until we got half of an opportunity later on, and you got a deflected charge shot, and it went in, and he ended up winning the game 1-0. For majority of that game, it was looking like it was going to be a 0-0 draw. We also played them in the Community Shield. For most of that game, it looked like it was going to be a 0-0 draw. And then Man City scored, and then we equalized later on, and then we drew another game and went all the way to penalties. Now, Man City this season, they've drawn, I think, 3-3 with Tottenham at their place. They've drawn 1-1 against Chelsea at their place as well. They've drawn with Liverpool 1-1. They also drew with Liverpool 1-1 at Anfield. So they've drawn a lot of those big games. And I think they haven't won any top 6 game this season. They also lost to Aston Villa, lost to Arsenal the first time round. But as people say, Man City gets to March, April, May, they're different prospects. And yeah, you have to agree that, because we've seen them doing it a lot of times. Now, for us, we can't look at the history. Going into this game, we have to ignore the history of how they've been smashing us at their place. Luckily, recently, we've been able to, end that hoodoo of not winning at Tottenham. We won there, winning at Newcastle last season. We won at Man United in 2020 or 2021 or something like that. But still, Liverpool and Man City, we still never win there. It's been like since 2015, since the last time we won at Man City. But if there's any time you're going to beat Man City, it has to be now, because right now we are playing really well. Most of our players seem like they're going to be fit for this game. We have a very different team from last season. Now, last season when he went there and he lost 4-1, I went and watched that game. I had to, and I looked at the squads. And after looking at the Arsenal squad, I was like, yeah, I know why we didn't win. Now, if you look at our defense on that day that we played Man City last season, when they beat us 4-1, Zinchenko was playing at left back. Ben White at right back, Gabriel and Holding at center defense. Now, we didn't have Saliba, so we had to play Holding. That is number one. That was a big problem on that day. Zinchenko was also on the left side in that game. Now, we do know as Arsenal fans, ideally, you don't want Zinchenko to be playing like away at Liverpool, away at Man City. The other games, I don't have a problem with him, but those particular games, you want someone who's very defensively solid. Now, this time round, we have Tomiyasu, we have Kivio there. Timber could make it to the squad. Saliba is fit this time round. Declan Rice is there as well. On that day, our midfield was Odegaard, Partey, and Xhaka. Not bad at all, but obviously Rice just brings it to the next level. And then our forward line on that day, we had Saka, Jesus, and Martinelli. We could have a totally different front three from that day. No, not that particular game. No, Saka obviously can play, but the rest could be different. But from the front three that we had this season at the Emirates against them, when you had Jesus, Nketiah, and Trossard, you could have a totally different middle front three. Now, this is only beat Man City, we kept them down to like one shot or something the whole game. Haaland didn't have any attempts. Gabriel and Saliba are very, very solid, and I think we'll need to do that again for the whole 90 minutes. It's going to be even trickier. Last season, when we went to the Etihad, they demolished us within the first 10 minutes. They were just, thumping long balls, and Haaland was just dominating, Holding, and De Bruyne is making the runs through, and they got several chances within the first 10 minutes. Now, this time, we have to watch out for especially De Bruyne. I'm expecting him to be fit. You have to take care of De Bruyne. And Foden is on absolute form right now as well. If you take care of De Bruyne and Foden, obviously, and Haaland, then in a good place. It's easier said than done. It's very hard to watch out for all those three players and dominate all the tussles and the duels and all that. But if you manage to do it, you're in a very good place. And obviously, this is another battle to watch out for. Rice up against Rodri. This is going to be absolutely crucial. These two players have been magnificent this season. The games that Man City have lost is because Rodri hasn't been there, and Rice has just been a superb 105 million signing for us. Not only do they protect their defenses, these guys score goals, and that technical wise, they're very good. They get assists as well. Declan Rice takes corners and free kicks, and I saw him scoring a very good penalty against FC Porto. I watched Rodri scoring 2 very good penalties for Spain recently in the international break. He scores goals, he assists, he knows how to dominate possession in midfield and everything. So whoever wins that battles, I feel that battle is going to be very important, because if Rodri gets the better of Rice, that basically, unless we have like Partey and he decides to go with both Partey and Rice, and you hope Partey turns up, maybe that is the only way. But the moment if Rice loses that battle, that exposes the rest of the midfield, because now they have De Bruyne there, they could have Bernardo Silva there, they could have Foden there. But if Rice wins that battle, the moment if you can lock off Rodri from that game, any game, you're giving yourself a huge advantage, because I don't necessarily think he's the best player in the team, but he's the most important player in the Man City team. Like if De Bruyne is not there, they still win. If Foden is not there, they still win. If Ederson is not there, they still win. If Walker is not there, they'll still win. But if Rodri is not there, they rarely win, and they end up losing those games. So it's very, very important for them. If Rice can help us win that battle, then we're in a very, very good place. This season, when you beat them at the Emirates, Rodri was not playing, and that was another key factor why you won that game. We had Jorginho, who played really well in that game, and also Rice. So when Rodri is not there, you have a huge advantage. But now he's going to be there. De Bruyne is also going to be there. You're going to have to try and match up to them. Rice, Odegaard, and whoever else is in midfield, whether he decides to go for Jorginho or Partey, whoever else is going to be there in midfield. So it's not going to be an easy game. But this time around, as I said, if you're ever going to beat Man City, it has to be now. If you win this game, you go 4 points ahead of Man City, and you give yourself a huge advantage. And you'll still be level on points with Liverpool if they beat Brighton, but you give yourself a huge advantage, because next up after that, you have Luton, you have Brighton, you have Aston Villa. You have to continue winning and winning and winning and winning every single game to win this title. It's not going to be easy, but you have to, you have to give yourself every single chance. You have to play, everyone has to play at 100%. everything we need to do perfectly. You get a chance, you have to score it. You know, the way we missed chances back in January against Liverpool in the FA Cup, we can't do that in this game. We can't have Havertz getting a chance, missing twice, then Saka getting a chance, missing twice, or they getting into the box, taking too much time to shoot the ball, or Martinelli, if he plays, gets into the box and puts it wide, or Ben White gets into the box and hesitates to shoot and loses the ball and the defense is open. All that, we have to avoid all that. We have to take our chances. If we miss a chance, make sure their goalkeeper saved a really good shot and you've tested the goalkeeper. You have to take your chances. And most importantly for me, the two other things, you have to win your duels. So Rodri up against Rice, we have to try and win that one. Who else? Martinelli against the right back. If Martinelli plays, or Trossard against the right back, whoever plays, we literally don't know who's going to play on that side. It could be Trossard against Rico Lewis. It could be Martinelli against Walker. There's a lot of injury doubts in both teams, so you don't know who's going to play there. But whoever is going to win that duel as well is going to be very important. Obviously, Saka up against Ake or Guardiola, whoever plays there, and obviously on the other side for us as well, Haaland against Gabriel and Saliba. We have to watch out for all that as well. And whoever gets to mark De Bruyne, I feel like it's going to be Declan Rice. I feel like we're going to see obviously Rodri will be marking Odegaard most of the times, and then if Rice plays in the number 8 position, I think is the one who's going to be tasked with going back and forth with De Bruyne, which is still very important. We are not going to see Rice versus Rodri a lot in that game. You're probably going to see Rodri against Odegaard and Rice against De Bruyne, but whoever wins those battles, very important. If you keep De Bruyne quiet and Rodri quiet in that midfield, you win the game. If they keep Rice quiet and Odegaard quiet, they win that game as well. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game. And as well, taking chances. The third one is taking chances. Win your duels, take your chances, and defend well. You need to do all that. Don't give them too many chances. I don't think this time they're going to have one shot alone like they did at the Emirates. That game was very cautious from both teams. So I'm expecting more from this game. It's such a big game, man. It's such a big game. We are now in the big boy battle. Back in the day, 3-4 years ago, we'd play Man City and we'd be like, listen, if you don't lose by 3 goals, it's fine. If you end up losing this game 2-1 or something, I'll take that. Right now, people are talking about Arsenal having to win this game. So it shows you the margins of winning the title. You have to be close to perfect. We've won 8 games in a row. But we haven't played a Man City yet in that run. So let's see how that one works out. It would be a huge boost if you can do a double over Man City. That changes our mindset for the rest of the season and also for next season playing Man City, even potentially we could end up playing Man City again. Remember, if we beat Bayern Munich and they beat Real Madrid, we could end up playing them in the Champions League as well. So if you beat Man City twice in the league, you give yourself an advantage for that as well, even though they have the Champions League heritage they talk about. So it's going to be interesting. So which kind of lineup would I go for this particular game? Now, we're hearing Martinelli might be on the bench for this one. Bukayo Saka and Gabriel are expected to be fit. I think Walker and De Bruyne are going to be fit for them. We are not sure about Martinelli, and also you're not sure about Stones for them. But for me, let's start with the lineup. So David Raya in goal. That would be my goalkeeper for sure. And then my back forward stick with the same. Kivio, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White. Now, would you guys be tempted to change it up? Would you guys be tempted to bring in Tomiyasu for this game? Because as you can see from this picture, Tomiyasu is the one who came on against Man City at the Emirates and got an assist. Was it an assist? Okay, got the header. He made a very good run up front, got the header. He tried to Havertz. Havertz passed the ball to Martinelli, and then we scored from it. But we brought him from the bench. On that day, it was very understandable. Start with Zinchenko. Get him, to control the game and all that, and then take him off, I think, in the 70th minute, and then bring on Tomiyasu. That day it worked. We also did the same with Jorginho and Partey. We took off Jorginho and brought in Partey. We have that option this time. We can have Tomiyasu there. You could have Kivio there. For me, Zinchenko, not this game. He's going to play those other games, but this particular game up against Foden and those guys, tricky, very, very tricky. And also, he's coming from 2 very, very tough games for Ukraine trying to qualify for the Euros. So Kivio as well has been doing the same, but obviously he's been playing really, really well defensively the last few games. So that would be my back four, no changes. Now, what about the midfield? Just like the left back situation with Tomiyasu recovering, there's a chance you can play him instead of Kivio if you feel like it'd be better for this game. Now, midfield is also the same. Partey has now been back for like a month. He's been training over the last 2 weeks. Do you start him in this game, or do you stay with Jorginho, who's been playing very, very well? He played very well against Liverpool at home, and he played very well against Man City at our place as well at the Etihad Stadium. On that day, he was very, very good. Kovacic could easily have gotten a red card on that day. I think he fouled Odegaard or Jorginho, one of them. He played really well. And Jorginho as well against Newcastle away. In those big games, Jorginho has been really, really good. And with that said, that is who I'd go for. I'd go with Jorginho in midfield. Give him that task of, marking whoever plays there, Bernardo Silva or whoever, control the game, try and, control possession and give those passes to whoever is playing up front. And then in front of him, we know it's easy, that one, Rice and Odegaard. Odegaard didn't have a good game at all last season against Man City. I'm sure he gave away a ball, which we considered from, I think, the fourth goal when Haaland had his hair out and everything. I think it was Odegaard who gave away that ball, but I don't quite remember it, which exact goal, but I know he made a mistake in that game. Now, in this game, he has to be way better. He has to play like the way he's been playing the rest of this season. He has to be, dominate the game and help us get those passes through to the forward players and the skills to get past maybe Rodri. He'll need all that. So Odegaard and Rice in midfield, we have to try and win that midfield battle. When players get tired, then you can afford to bring in the likes of Partey. With that said, if Partey starts, if he's been playing really well the last 3-4 weeks in training and he starts, I wouldn't mind that as well. But Jorginho definitely does deserve to start because we've seen him the last few games. What about up front? Now, we do expect Saka to be there. He definitely starts. But the other positions as well, just like midfield and left back, Jesus is also back. Do you start him instead of Havertz, or do you stick with the player who's been playing well the last few months? So for me, I'll stick with the same. Saka, Havertz, and Trossard. Trossard, I was debating whether to have Jesus on that left side, the same debate we had ahead of the FC Porto game. But Trossard played very well against Man City last season at the Etihad in the FA Cup game. He played really well. So he can definitely take on Man City in a game like this. And there's also, as a player who can put in a cross, as a player who can finish when he gets a chance. So we need a player like that. If Martinelli is fit and starts, absolutely no problem. And then that leaves the bench looking like this. So our bench is quite strong. If most of our players are fit, our bench is quite strong. Having Zinchenko there, you also have Tomiyasu there, Partey, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Jesus, Nketiah, Nelson, Fabio Vieira. If one of these players is not available, Fabio Vieira could also make it there. It's a very strong bench. If you need attacking options, you can bring in Martinelli, Jesus. If you need to just, shut it out and you're leading 2-1 in the 70th minute, you can bring in Tomiyasu. You can even, if you're leading very comfortably, you can even go with the top back five, bring in Tomiyasu or someone. Or if someone like a Ben White is tired and is on a yellow card and Doku has come on and stuff like that, you can always switch from Ben White to Tomiyasu. So those guys give us different options from the bench. My match prediction for this one. It's so hard, man, right? It's so hard. It is so hard. Now, from the last 3 weeks, I've been thinking Arsenal, we start our games very quickly. Man City starts slowly from what I've seen recently. So from that, I've been thinking Arsenal will score fast in this game. And then maybe as we approach the 35th minute, 36th minute there, between the 30th minute and the 45th minute, Man City probably equalize and make it 1-1. And then we carry on 1-1 for most of the game. Now, it either ends up being that way 1-1 until the final whistle, or one of the team gets a second goal. And I'm hoping it'd be the one getting the second goal. I don't mind a draw, so I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for Man City 1, Arsenal 1. I was thinking Arsenal 2, Man City 1, but I'm going to respect their home record and everything. So I'm going to go for Man City 1, Arsenal 1. And listen, that will mean Liverpool are top of the table, but that means you don't have any more games against Man City and Liverpool. You just need to win the rest of your games. And it's not going to be easy, but we have to try, man. We have to try. If you get a win, if you get like a goal early, or if you get a 2-1 lead or 1-0 lead with 60th minute there, I trust this team to be able to hold out because of the score that we have right now with Rice and Gabriel and Saliba and all those guys. So let's see how it works out. Let me know your prediction. Let me know your starting lineup. Few questions. Would you start Jorginho, Partey in midfield? Would you start Kiwi or Tomiyasu at left back? And would you start Jesus or Havertz up front? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.